is everything.
The comment of today's episode goes to Sam Battistone commenting on my tier list video. He said, I actually agree with most of your list, but I do think Nadal should be S tier. He is a slam short of Federer, who is widely considered to be the greatest ever, and he is unarguably the greatest clay court player, particularly at the French, in history. I think that he will get 3 more slams, 2 French, and another hard court. I really agree with most of the rest though. I feel bad for all the hate you are getting, and I honestly think that you deserve more views, likes, and subscribers. Best of luck. I appreciate the kind words, Sam. This earns you the comment of today's episode. Now let's get into the video. The question of today's episode is, who is the best ATP player under the age of 25? Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. My honest, unpopular opinion of this week's episode is that the ATP Finals does not matter. Before you get bent out of shape and dislike this video, hear me out because I think you'll understand what I mean. First and foremost, nobody cares as much about the finals. For example, although Nadal would love to win this year's NITTO ATP Finals, without a second thought he would trade 5 finals titles for 1 Grand Slam to tie Federer for the all-time record. The same goes for last year's champion Alexander Zverev. I'm sure this championship meant a lot to him, but I am also sure that without skipping a beat, he would trade it for a victory on the holy grounds of Wimbledon or the red clay of Roland Garros. This leads me into my next point, which is that when it comes to GOAT or greatest of all time conversations, year-end finals hardly ever are valuable in an argument. Think back to the last time you were arguing with someone on who the greatest ever was. Did you mention Alex Correia, Stan Smith, Guillermo Vilas, Manuel Orantes? If you didn't, I don't blame you. But a common thing among these no-names is that they have all won a year-end final. Now ask yourself if you mentioned any of these players. Rafael Nadal, Rod Laver, Arthur Ashe, Jim Courier, Mats Wilander. Possibly to your surprise, none of these players have ever won a year-end final. Lastly, it's the end of the year, and a lot of times these players just want to have fun at this tournament. And really, can you blame them? If you traveled to nearly every country and played 3 or 5 sets of tennis almost every day all year, would you not want a break? Plus, these are the best players in the world, and they hardly have anything to prove. It isn't too often we get to see 8 of the top players in the world go head-to-head for a winner-takes-all tournament. We often don't appreciate it enough. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to the reality of things, it doesn't matter. Novak Djokovic won the Paris Masters this week, defeating the lucky finalist Denis Shapovalov in straight sets 6-3, 6-4. In the round of 32, Djokovic defeated Corentin Moutet in a tough match against the hometown Frenchman. Then he beat Kyle Edmund in the round of 16 with a first set tiebreak for the second straight match. In the quarterfinals, Djokovic played his first match against an opponent that had a serious chance at upsetting him in Stefanos Tsitsipas. Yet he sent him packing as well after a 6-1, 6-2 embarrassment. In the semis, Djokovic won his third first set tiebreak of the tournament on his way to beating Grigor Dimitrov in straight sets. As for the other side of the draw, Shapovalov had an interesting path to the finals. In the first round of the tournament, he escaped Gilles Simon after Simon had to retire in the first set. Then he slipped past Fabio Fognini in the round of 32 after dropping the first set. Then in the round of 16, he defeated Alexander Zverev in another tough 3-setter. In the quarterfinals, he got his first commanding win with a 6-2, 6-2 victory against Gael Monfils. To reach the finals, Shapovalov was the benefactor of Rafael Nadal having to withdraw prior to their match. Nadal suffered an abdominal strain at the Paris Masters. After the tournament, Djokovic said it was his first Masters finals, so in a way, experience prevailed. But he was referring to Shapovalov there. He said, but I played very solidly today. Maybe he lost his focus a bit. Even if this is true, Shapovalov climbed to a career-high 15th in the ATP rankings after his performance. In an interview with Le Parisien, Novak Djokovic let us know where he keeps his trophies. He said, I do not keep my trophies at home, referring to Monte Carlo. I send them to Serbia and my parents decide what they want to do with them. Either they keep them at home or they put them in our little museum around the restaurant. I'm not exactly sure what I think about this, but I do think it is nice of him to give back to his parents. since they have done so much for him. I've always known Djokovic as a grateful person who just loves to play the game, and I don't see this as much different. I really do think that is why he is so easy to root for no matter what country the tournaments are in. For this episode's upcoming tournament predictions, we will look at the ATP Finals draw. Group A includes Rafael Nadal, Daniil Medvedev, Stefanos Tsitsipas, and Alexander Zverev. Group B consists of Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Dominic Thiem, and Matteo Berrettini. A couple things to note about this year's tournament is that this is the 50th ATP Finals. Nadal and Djokovic will be battling for the year-end #1 spot. Nadal might not play due to his abdominal tear. Nadal is still trying to win his first ATP Finals, and this is Medvedev, Tsitsipas, and Berrettini's first ATP Final. If you're unfamiliar with how the tournament is played, make sure to check out my last video where I described the format. As for how I think the tournament will go, I think Djokovic and Thiem will come out of Group B, and Medvedev and Nadal will come out of Group A. I think Djokovic has a lot to play for right now, so he will be at the top of his game, especially early in the group stage. He should pick up an easy win against Berrettini and a couple hard-fought wins against Federer and Thiem to come out of his group as the 1 seed. As for Thiem, I think he will beat Federer in his first match of the group stage and pick up a win against Berrettini to come out as the 2 seed. Looking at Group B, Nadal should win that side with ease, picking up an initial win against the defending champion Alexander Zverev and cruising by Stefanos Tsitsipas. I think his match against Medvedev could be a good one and go either way, but if I had to guess, I would bet on Nadal. For the 2nd seed, I believe Medvedev will also have a fairly easy path. Although I think Zverev has a brighter future, in the current moment, Medvedev is the better player and has a favorable group. He has never lost to Stefanos Tsitsipas. He recently beat Zverev in the finals of the Shanghai Masters and took Nadal to 5 sets in the final of this year's US Open. All of these factors considered, he should be in a good mental state to move on to the semifinals. So if you know how the tournament works, then you know that my semifinals prediction is Djokovic versus Medvedev and Nadal versus Thiem. I think these are both pretty interesting matchups because both of these pairs of opponents are so similar. Many call Medvedev the reincarnation of Djokovic due to his ability to play super long points and change to an attacking mindset in no time. And many would say the same about Thiem and Nadal with their ability to play back and hit penetrating ground strokes from the back of the court. Not to mention that Thiem is the heir apparent for Nadal as the king of clay. My prediction is that Djokovic and Nadal will meet in the finals, and if so, this would be amazing. They both would be fighting for the year-end #1 spot, and Nadal would be fighting for his first ATP Finals title as well. In the end, I think that Djokovic will win both and lead Nadal to wait another year for his redemption. Ashley Barty won her maiden singles Grand Slam this year at the French Open, as well as capturing the WTA Finals last week and a record-setting $4.4 million prize pot. That is more than the prize pot in the men's ATP Finals. Even though Novak Djokovic won the Paris Masters, he still fell to #2 in the ATP rankings and must perform well to end the year as the #1. Another reason in my opinion that the ATP should consider switching to the UTR ranking system.